How can we develop the national advocacy and influencing agenda for the Giving for Change program? This is a critical question that the Giving for Change partners reflected on during the interviews that were conducted on the sidelines of the Giving for Change National Advocacy and Influencing Workshop that was hosted by Africa Philanthropy Network in South Africa. Good afternoon. May you kindly introduce yourself and the organization that you are representing?
Hi, Teresa. My name is Ese Emerhi, and I am the Global Network Weaver for the Global Fund for Community Foundations.
And what is it you do at the Global Fund for Community Foundations?
I work primarily on the Giving for Change program, which is what we are here for, really to support the partner members of the program to better understand their role in advancing and advocating around community philanthropy. So the Giving for Change program is a radical program that really tries to promote community philanthropy, shift the power, has an alternative, durable solution to development, a different way of doing development. So my role with partner organizations is really building an internal community of practice, knowledge sharing, knowledge exchange, understanding local context in the 8 different countries that we work in, and providing either advocacy or influence and support as they go about their individual campaigns on the national, local level.
And very interesting, it's been 2 years into the program. What is it you're seeing, you're hearing in the different contexts that you operate in?
I think one thing that maybe we assumed that community philanthropy was understood by all. It is not something that it's still an emerging field. There are lots of unknowns, and for many actors, not just the 8 organizations working on this program, but from the Global Fund's perspective, we see that those who actually work in community philanthropy tend to be on the fringes of the ecosystem. These are local organizations that may not be highlighted, they may not be given interviews, they may not even have funding, and yet they are the ones actually doing community philanthropy, which is people-led, community-led, and owned processes. And there are limitations, restrictions, and hesitations around community philanthropy, truly understanding what it is. And I think in the last 2 years, we've seen a shift within the partners of the program who now truly understand the tenets of what community philanthropy is, which is that people have assets, they have knowledge, they can problem solve the challenges that they face, and that this is an alternative model for development, especially when you consider the growing, shrinking civic space, not just in Africa, but globally as well, which is forcing many organizations to now turn inwards. Things like local resource mobilization, local ownership of project ideas and concepts, even advocating and influencing their local governments, whether it's the local chairman all the way up to the presidency.
Thank you so much, Ese. And interestingly, coming to this week's workshop that we have been having, focusing on national advocacy and influencing, what are some of your key takeaways or your point of reflection?
Yeah, this has been, this is the second time I think the program has met in person, face to face. The first time was last year in July in Accra. So for many of the partners, or for all of us, we've been doing this work virtually. And some of the deep issues like gender equality, human rights issues, gay rights issues, we don't really get a chance to get deep into these issues in our monthly Zoom meetings that are usually 1 hour. And this meeting in particular sort of unearthed or percolated a lot of deep issues around human rights issues, governance, democracy, gender issues that I think we took for granted. And it's these types of conversations, you can only have them when you're face to face. with a partner to really understand why there might be resistance to the term gender rights or women's rights issues, why there might be resistance on an individual level around gay rights or human rights issues. So if there isn't that mindset shift happening on an individual level, it's hard to imagine it happening on a national or even international level. So I think for me, it's seeing that shift in the room, appreciating that we are all coming from different, our contexts are different. Our understanding of philanthropy is different. In Mozambique, for instance, they don't have a word for community philanthropy. Like, it doesn't exist. So how do you begin to grow an emerging field in a context like that where there isn't language to describe what it is? So understanding that, I think has been, for me, eye-opening, but also that we still have a lot of work to do.
Indeed, there's still a lot of work to do, and we are really grateful for the Giving for Change program that is really according all 8 countries to ensure that they promote an enabling environment for philanthropy to thrive. That was Ese from the Global Fund for Common Foundations. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.